Beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada is the location, more specifically from the Link Studios overlooking Caesars Palace. This is Bet. He's Tyler Fulgham. I'm Joe Fortenbaugh. Welcome to a Monday edition of the show. We got a bunch to get to today. Monday Night Football between the Ravens and the Browns. Is Carson Wentz's time in Philadelphia nearing an end? Reaction, no action, college football conference championship picks. But for some reason, we are going to begin today with someone's idea of a sick joke. The first thing we're going to tell you is that if you want more great ESPN sports betting content, check us out on youtube.com/ESPN sports betting.
That not a sick joke. That's not a sick joke.
Not a sick joke at all.
This is.
You know the sick joke I'm mentioning? For some reason, we decided to start with the recap of the Parlay to Paradise today. Not Tyler's decision or my decision.
Why would we do this?
So let's go ahead and take a look. 9 picks, as you know, each and every week. Tyler makes 4, I make 4, and then we welcome a special guest into the equation to make one as well. $50 has a chance of paying anywhere north of $20,000. And it did not go well for us.
Didn't work
this past week, my friend, from what I understand.
It started on Saturday with me. I was backing my alma mater one more time. The Missouri Tiger football team thought they would cover 13 against Georgia. Georgia had other plans. Georgia didn't want me sipping Mai Tais on a beach. So after that, it was all a wash after that.
I had the over in Army-Navy, which went under for the 15th consecutive time.
I remember you touting that and then giving that trend as the statistic. It's gone under 14 straight times. I'm going to go over, though. That's what I'm going to do here.
Yeah.
I was curious about that.
I got cute. And
I didn't know if you had some inside info.
3-0 in the second quarter, and I was like, America's game can be watched by others in America. I am done. So that's where it stands. One of the individuals who was involved with us was Super Bowl champion and 6-time NFL Pro Bowler. He's now an NFL analyst for ESPN. Jeff Saturday, kind enough to join Tyler Fulgham and Joe Fortenbaugh here on Bet. Saturday, what's the deal, man? You were an Indianapolis Colt. You had an easy layup with them against the Raiders, and you decided to go with the Saints over the Eagles. At least you're in good company. Tyler and I, as you probably heard, blew plenty of the picks as well.
Yeah, I mean, listen, and I'd known that Sean Payton was going to decide not to run the quarterback and act like he was going to be a drop-back passing quarterback. I would have made a completely different bet, man. Like, can we not? I mean, if we know Philly's going to be, it's going to be tough for him to have Taysom Hill out of the backfield. What in the world, man? However the information got sent to me, it was poor information, poorly. But listen, I will say this. If I had 4 opportunities, I'm betting I would have been better than both of you being 1 and 4. So that's some trash, man. People out here losing houses because of you clowns and what y'all tell people to do. You took the over 14 years. What are you doing? I mean, come on, man.
I got cute. Jeff, but you know, it's Monday. We're going to wipe the slate clean. We're going to put all that behind us, and we're happy you're joining us because at 8:15 p.m. Eastern tonight on Monday Night Football, we got an AFC North showdown. The Cleveland Browns are hosting the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore, though, on the road. They've got the inferior record, yet they're laying 3 points with a total of 45.5 for this game. So you hear the spread, you hear the total, you know the situation going in. What are you thinking about tonight's game?
Listen, I think in my opinion, I think the Browns are the better team. And I know that the Ravens have had their number. I know they beat the brakes off of them week 1. But I would say when you look at Bill Callahan, who is their offensive line coach and run game coordinator, with Chubb being back and Hunt being in the mix, I think they will be a heavy dose of running it. And I know Brandon Williams, the nose guard from the Ravens, is back. Calais Campbell, but he's still hampered by the injury. Calais Campbell is. I know he'll try to play, but still going to be difficult to overcome. I think with that, it opens up the play-action pass for Baker Mayfield. I just think it's going to be too much. When you look at the Ravens' offense, they just not have been able to be in any type of way of scoring. So I think they're going to get outmanned here. I think the Browns are going to get a win collectively.
You have won a Super Bowl. We are going to bring you back up to that mountaintop here in this segment with the opportunity to make 4 bets on props that we're going to set up. We're going
to help those people get their houses back that we cost.
We're going to set up the prop, and you let us know yes,
let's do it,
or no, if that's the direction you want to go. So number 1, Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson over 1.5 passing touchdowns tonight. Yes or no?
Yes, I'm going over 1.5. I'll take that one. Let's go with that.
Tyler, where are you going?
Yeah, I like it as well. I think Lamar Jackson's going to have a good day here. He gets not only Marquise Brown in a good spot with no Denzel Ward, but Mark Andrews, his best red zone weapon with his size, and Willie Sneader back. So I think he can have a big day through the air against. And this Cleveland defense pretty good against the run, but a little compromise right now against the pass with Denzel Ward out. So I'll go over.
Cleveland has allowed 2 or more touchdown passes in 8 of 12 games this season, and the over here is at plus 155, meaning a $100 wager. If it wins, returns $155 in profit. I like that price. I'm going to go over as well.
Well, let's talk about the other quarterback, Baker Mayfield, coming off that dynamic game against the Tennessee Titans where he was basically unstoppable. Different kind of matchup here with the Ravens defense. Jeff, place or pass on Baker Mayfield, 223.5 passing yards under that. Would you go under 223.5 with Baker Mayfield, place or pass?
No, I'm going to pass on that. I'll tell you why. When you look at the way that this offense has progressed, you look at Baker Mayfield last week, the play-action pass is really what they're – and he had 3 touchdowns last week where the receiver was 3 or more yards open, which is just insane. So I like that. I also think Peters, Marcus Peters, the defensive back for the Ravens, his eye discipline can waver, right? He's not afraid to peek in there and try to jump a ball. I think that gets him in trouble against a play-action pass. So I'm saying Mayfield goes over that. So I'm gonna pass on that bet and leave it alone.
Good news for Jeff. I'm going to go in the opposite direction. I'll be playing the under, and with the way I'm running these days, that's going to put him in a very favorable spot. This is something, Baker Mayfield only averaging about 203 passing yards per game this season, but I want to focus on 2 factors. Number 1, the winds are supposed to be high tonight in Cleveland, upwards of 20 miles an hour. And number 2, perhaps more importantly, the Ravens rank 3rd in the NFL in terms of opponent yards per attempt, meaning they don't give up a lot of deep shots down the field. They don't give up a lot of deep plays. They keep the passing game in front of them. I lean to the under here.
I'm going to place that bet as well, under 223 for Mayfield. Guy's only averaging 27 pass attempts per game. We know Kevin Stefanski wants to run the football. Wyatt Teller is back. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt are healthy. I think Mayfield's going to have limited opportunity. And he only threw for $189 in week 1 against this team when they lost 38-6. Now you go to the backfield, though, and there's Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb, over 89.5 rush yards. Would you place or pass on, over 80.5 rush yards. Place or pass for Nick Chubb, 80.5 rush yards against the Ravens?
Place. Yeah, again, I think with Nick Chubb, I think Bill Callahan, their offensive line coach and coordinator, does a really good job of design runs. I know Brandon Williams is back. That will help bolster the Ravens. But when you're talking about Calais Campbell and the injury he's coming back from, both are a little gimpy. I think the Browns' offensive line is playing extremely well, and the designs of the runs make it difficult. And with Chubb being able to get outside and he has the explosiveness to be able to take it down, I'm going over with that, so I would place that bet.
I find myself in this situation going on the under as well, somewhat reluctantly. The Ravens have only allowed 3 opposing running backs to go over this total this year. Derrick Henry, Miles Sanders, and Damian Harris from the New England Patriots in that rain game. So reluctantly, especially with Calais Campbell trying to get back on the field tonight, I find myself heading to the under, but like I said, reluctantly.
Yeah, I'm going to join Jeff on this one. I'm going to place the over on 80.5 rush yards for Nick Chubb. The guy is averaging 6 yards per carry this season. 4.3 of those come after contact. Yep. He's been an absolute beast. I know the Ravens will be getting healthier along that D-line, but that doesn't scare me as well because Wyatt Teller is going to be back for the Cleveland Browns offensive line. And according to Pro Football Focus, he has been the best guard in the game this year. So Chubb and Hunt will probably each get close to 20 carries, and Chubb will get over 8.5 with his opportunities.
All right, final one, Jeff. Here we go. Who's going to score the first touchdown in tonight's game? Hollywood Brown, Ravens wide receiver at 12-1 to score the first TD. Place or pass?
I'm passing on this. Mark Andrews is coming back. Snead is coming back. He loves Andrews. That's their one. I mean, if you think about it, as crazy as it sounds, but their number 1 receiver is Mark Andrews. I think his big body. I think that Lamar Jackson trusts him, wants to put the ball up. So I'm gonna pass on this one. I don't think Hollywood Brown's going to be the guy he's targeting early. So I'm gonna go away from that one.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jeff. I'm going to pass on this one. Brown has just 4 touchdowns this entire season, which is obviously not a lot. You mentioned Mark Andrews being back, so when they're inside the red zone, he's not looking at the 5'9" Brown. He's looking at the 6'4", 6'5" Mark Andrews in the red zone. So I'm going to pass on this. Brown might find the end zone, but it's not enough in terms of the odds I'm getting for him to be the first touchdown. I'd rather play it at 20, 25-1 than 12-1.
Clean sweep, which means Marquise Brown is going to score the first touchdown because I would go no as well.
That's right.
You can get Ravens running back J.K. Dobbins at 12-1 as well. I think there's going to be a lot more running in this game than there will be throwing. You guys make excellent points when it comes to Mark Andrews in the red zone. And we're just talking about the Ravens. We haven't even factored in the Cleveland Browns yet. So it's clean sweep on that one. Super Bowl champ, 6-time Pro Bowler, ESPN NFL analyst, Jeff Saturday, kind enough to join us here on Bet. Great stuff, Jeff. Thank you so much for your time.
Appreciate it, fellas. Y'all have a great one.
Probably the most
We got to get Saturday out here to Vegas.
The most handsome individual.
He seems like he'd be a fun hang in Vegas.
You can have a good time?
I think he might have a good time.
Of any NFL position group to party with in Vegas, would offensive line be at the top of the list?
I think O-line and D-line. In the
O-line,
trenches.
D-line?
You want those guys in the trenches because when you're out there on the strip, you're in the trenches. Okay? You're in the trenches out there. I need someone who can pass block, who can run block. If I need to run from the cops, then, Jeff Saturday can take care of it.
All right. So speaking of tonight's Cleveland-Baltimore game, obviously like we just talked about, Baltimore on the road with the inferior record, yet laying 3 points with a total of 45.5. Let's give gamer side picks in a bit, but if you have a prop you'd give to the people, what would you be targeting?
Well, even though I was passing on Hollywood Brown being the first scorer, I do think Brown can have an efficient day. 41.5 is his receiving total. I'm going to go over that. That's the prop that I like. And a few reasons why he is still, even with Andrews coming back, he is still dominating the Baltimore Ravens in terms of their air yards target share. So even though Andrews gets some of the targets, we know the deep shots, the intermediate shots, using Brown for his speed and route running savvy at the intermediate and deep parts of the field. That's where Lamar Jackson is targeting him. We saw him get 5, 6, 7 targets last game. I think he can get in that realm again this week, or tonight, I should say. And Denzel Ward is out. So I'll go over 41.5 with the matchup being good and with the opportunity just being good for Marquise Brown in this matchup against the Browns.
I got a very specific one for you tonight. Baker Mayfield under 34.5 yards for his longest completion.
Okay.
So of all the passes he throws that are completed, the longest one will stay under.
You're basically saying
yards.
No big shot. The Ravens won't allow a big shot.
No big shots.
How'd you find that out?
We talked about this earlier. The wind concerns in Cleveland tonight. They could be upwards of 20 mile an hour. Number 2, Baltimore, 3rd in the NFL in terms of opponent yards per attempt. 5.9 yards per attempt. That's the 3rd lowest in the NFL. They're not giving up a lot of deep shots, as evidenced by the 4 passes this year they've given up of more than 40 yards. That's tied for 2nd lowest in the NFL. In terms of passes given up more than 20 yards, so far this season in 12 games, only 27. They average a little over 2 per game. That is number 1 in the NFL. This defense does not give up big shots. Now, with that being said, probably a little dump-off screen.
Sure.
Chubb takes it off. Kareem Hunt takes it off. But we're going to go under.
I like it.
Baker Mayfield.
I like it.
Longest completion, 34.5 yards.
Very specific, but I like it.
Side or total. The Browns are catching 3 at home. Total's 45.5. What do you like?
I'm going to stay away from the side. I do think the Ravens win this game, but I have enough respect for the 9-3 Browns that I'm going to stay away from the side. I think the under is the play when it comes to the total. We both know that these teams are going to run the rock. They are actually the 1st and 3rd ranked NFL teams this year in terms of run rates. Stefanski, Harbaugh with his whole quarterback and running back situation, they're going to run the football on more than half the snaps that they take offensively each team. So the clock is running. And these are pretty good defenses, too. I mean, the Ravens starting to get healthy again with Campbell and Williams coming back. Myles Garrett's obviously a game changer. I've talked about Denzel Ward being out, but that's the one real missing piece on either defensive side. So clock running, a lot of, physical football. This is going to be an AFC North type of game with these defenses. I'm going under.
I am with you on that. That's going to be my play as well. Under 45.5 total yards. Points, excuse me.
45 total yard. Boy, that would be a real snooze fest.
That would be a Newt Rockne
1903 Yale versus Harvard game.
No, you know what that'd be? That'd be Saturday's Army-Navy game. That's what that would be, Saturday's Army-Navy game. Punts galore.
Still would play You're betting the over on that,
Still play the over on that one. We talked about the wind. I want to talk about 2 other things. Number 1, Cleveland's offense. First 5 games of the season, 31 points per game. Last 7 games, 21 points per game. They've fallen off a little bit in terms of offensive production. And in addition, not only are they running the ball a lot, these two teams are two of the slowest teams in the NFL when it comes to pace. In fact, Cleveland ranks 26th in plays per game. Baltimore ranks 29th in plays per game. They're not exactly in a hurry to get to the line of scrimmage, so I'm with you.
Under.
Air pound there. Under 45.5. So as we continue to highlight all of our misses recently, because this is what we like to do here on Mondays, there was something we played last Thursday with our friend Anita Marks. Excuse me. It was called Prop Art. We went around the circle 3 times. Each of us gave 3 of our favorite prop bets for the upcoming weekend. And as they would say in German, nicht so gut.
Still think that's the winner down there. You wear the rouge well, my friend.
It's like Heath Ledger in The Joker.
I don't know what the magenta is up here with me, but
you're really popping up there. Sounds like something we could see somewhere
I look
on the
like
strip.
the Jolly Green Giant, for crying out loud.
If this were baseball, we all did very well.
Okay.
We hit 1 for 3, so we'd be batting .333. We would be Tony Gwynn. Unfortunately, this is gambling and not baseball. So give yourself a little assessment there. What are you thinking? That Henry prop has been great for you.
Yeah, Henry, I'm surprised. Brady had 2 in like the first half, and it didn't hit. And then the Falcons and the Chargers, I should have expected them to disappoint, as they always do.
How about Andy Dalton not throwing an INT? Who does he
Upset
think
of the century.
he is?
You said, though, even when this doesn't hit, I'm going to come right back to it the next week because it's going to be profitable. So
Bet your rear end
I
will.
expect to see it.
That
on your
number's
card.
going to come down. Now suddenly Andy Dalton's red hot against the Niners. He's throwing an INT. He is throwing an INT. All right, so we're going to revisit that later in the week, and we'll try to give you better than 3 of 9. We usually start Monday's show with reaction or no action, but we were lucky enough to get Jeff Saturday to come on the program today, so we will do reaction or no action right now. You know how it works. I give you a statement. You let me know if you're reacting to that statement, which means you agree, or if there's no reaction, as in no action, which would mean you disagree. Are you ready, sir?
I get it.
Okay. Number 1, after falling 26-15 in Buffalo on Sunday night to lose their second game in a row, the Pittsburgh Steelers will end up as the 3rd seed in the AFC. Reaction or no action?
No action on that. I'm still a believer in this Pittsburgh team because of Mike Tomlin and because of that defense and because they have playmakers on offense. Now, those playmakers got to stop dropping the gosh darn ball.
Yes, they do.
Deontay, Eric, I'm talking to you. But I think those are some mental mistakes that were brought on by the hectic 3 games and 12-day schedule and everything being moved around. So now that they're through that, I'm going to give them the opportunity to earn back the equity I think they earned for the first 11 weeks of the season when they were 11-0. I don't see the Buffalo Bills leapfrogging them or at least tying them in the win-loss column so they have that head-to-head tiebreaker. So I say no action, they stay the 2 seed.
I am reacting to this.
Okay.
I think they are going to grab the 2 seed, and when I mean they, I mean the Buffalo Bills. So now the Bills are 1 game back, but they won the head-to-head matchup with the Steelers, which means they got the tiebreaker. So if they can run the table and go 3-0, we just need 1 more loss from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Here's who the Bills still have to play the rest of the way out. At Denver this weekend, where they're a 6-point favorite, at New England, and then hosting Miami. So the best of the group that they have to face, Miami. Week 17, they will be hosting. Pittsburgh, conversely, will be at Cincinnati. We'll give them that win.
Okay.
Then they host Indianapolis, and they're at Cleveland.
Yeah, those 2.
Would you like to reassess?
Tougher down the stretch. I'm not going to reassess, though, because I do think going to Denver after the big couple of wins is a trap letdown spot in that mile-high air. I think weird things happen there in Denver, and we just saw the Broncos beat the Panthers. Again, I think that the Steelers and the Bills go 2-1 down the stretch, and the Steelers still end up with a game advantage in the win-loss column.
By the way, laying 6 in Denver coming off that huge win. Potential letdown spot there. Just file that one away.
File that away.
More of those little nuggets
Kind of like
the course of the
Broncos
week.
right now.
Reaction or no action, number 2. After never leading in a 24-21 loss at Philadelphia on Sunday, the Eagles, by the way, had lost 4 straight heading into that game.
How about your Eagles?
Yeah, how about them? Way to jeopardize the draft pick. Reaction or no action? The New Orleans Saints can't win the NFC with Taysom Hill as their starting quarterback.
I'm going to say reaction. If you have Taysom Hill do the playoffs 100 times. He can win the Super Bowl once. But obviously, I'm going to react because Drew Brees gives them a better chance and raises their ceiling. So I'll say yes, reaction. They can't win the Super Bowl with Taysom Hill at QB. Drew Brees makes them better. There's some bad matchups if you have Taysom Hill in the NFC, the Rams being most notable. And I think if the Bucs play their best brand of defensive football with the way they can stop the run, that's a bad matchup for the Saints. So if they want to maximize their probability, I'd say you need Drew Brees back.
I'm going to throw a couple things out there. Number one, Kansas City is laying 3.5 in New Orleans this week. New Orleans hosting, catching 3.5 at home to a Kansas City team that hasn't covered a point spread in over a month.
Yep.
File that one away as well.
Yep.
Number two, I'm reacting to this as well. They will not win the Super Bowl with Taysom Hill as their starting quarterback because yesterday was the toughest challenge they've had with Taysom Hill.
By far.
It was the best defense they've played, and look what happened. They fell behind, and they couldn't come back. That reminds you of anyone?
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens.
I get it.
That team with Taysom Hill as the starting quarterback is not built to play from behind. They play out in front. They love life. They're sipping margaritas. Everything's great. They got caught in a grind yesterday. They couldn't do anything against that defense. Anything. So, no, he's not going to be able to lead them to a Super Bowl if he's the starter. Thankfully, Brees is projected to possibly be back this week against Kansas City. Last one, reaction or no action. Rookie second-round pick Jalen Hurts threw for 167 yards and a touchdown, as well as ran for 106 ones in that aforementioned Philadelphia win over the New Orleans Saints. Reaction or no action. Jalen Hurts saved head coach Doug Peterson's job on Sunday.
I'm going to say no action on that.
No action.
Because I do believe even if Jalen Hurts had never played this season and it was still Carson Wentz struggling out there and they lose that game to New Orleans and he struggles down the stretch and they keep losing, I don't think Peterson's job would be in jeopardy for 2021. Now going into 2029, that's where I think Jeffrey Lurie and the front office may consider, now you're coaching for your life. You got to show that you've improved Carson Wentz's game or you've done something with Jalen Hurts to make us winners. So I'm going to say no action. I don't think the Eagles organization is ready to put Peterson on the hot seat regardless of the QB carousel they have going right now.
Well analyzed. I think the difference here, because I am reacting to this, is the fact that I thought Peterson was on his way out. With the way this season has played out in Philadelphia, combined with the fact that this was a very, very winnable division this year, the Eagles had spent a ton of money at quarterback and elsewhere, and they weren't getting the results. Someone's head was going to roll. Now, I don't know if that was going to be Howie Roseman, the general manager, or Doug Peterson, the head coach, but someone's head was going to have to roll. That's why I believe they played Jalen Hurts this weekend. Get him in there, and if the rookie second-round pick looks good, everyone can go running to the owner and say, See, we got something here, but we need more time. We need more time in order to develop him, Jeffrey. Keep us on for at least another year. And that's exactly what happened. Jalen Hurts, it was a great game plan. It was a smart game plan. It's like anyone they game plan for, Nick Foles, Jalen Hurts, everything looks good. You game plan for Carson Wentz, they got no idea what they're doing out there.
Well, I think the Eagles are like 11-3 over the past few seasons in the regular season and playoffs in games not started by Carson Wentz.
How about it, huh? How about it? I got to be honest with you. I did not hear what you just said. I had the producer in my ear, and I was looking down, getting ready for the next segment, and I looked up.
That was a very generic and vague. How about it, huh?
It looked like you were waiting for a reaction.
No.
You had a smile, like you said something clever, and I'm like, you know what? I got to complete. I don't hear what he said. I didn't hear what he said.
So I said I think the Eagles in the past 2 or 3 years, in games not started by Carson Wentz, regular season and playoffs, they're like 11-3. Obviously, they won a Super Bowl in a game not started by Carson Wentz, and we know the struggles when Carson Wentz has been in there as far as the win-loss record and his individual stats. But the generic, vague, how about it response, it works.
It played?
Yeah, I mean, 11-3. How about it?
How about it?
That's interesting.
I came out and I saw you looking, and I was just like, man, he must have said something so profound, and I didn't give him the courtesy of actually.
Is there an elf on the shelf behind you? Is that what that is? Maybe
elf on the shelf,
the elf on the shelf
saucy.
heard me. The elf on the shelf responded. Thank you for responding and making me feel like a valid member of this team here, elf on the shelf.
College football conference championship weekend this weekend. We got at least 3 games we got to take a look at. Pac-12, we'd love to look at your game. We don't know who the hell's playing. You were going to put Washington with USC.
No, that's
now
not happening.
Washington's been ruled out, so Oregon gets in by default. Who gets into a conference championship by default? Oregon, apparently. So we're not touching that one. We will touch the SEC championship game in a moment. We're going to start with the ACC championship.
Okay. Alphabetical order.
Clemson is laying 10.5 with a total of 61.5 in their rematch for Notre Dame. What do you like?
I like the Notre Dame side. I'm going to tout here the under, though. We have two teams. Clemson's a good offensive team. We have two really good defensive teams, Notre Dame especially. And I think for Brian Kelly, if they want to win this game, they got to keep Trevor Lawrence off the field, try and control the rock, and then when Lawrence is on the field, get aggressive, get exotic with your game plan, with your blitz package. I just like the under. The Notre Dame defense, Clemson defense, top 15 in yards per game allowed and points per game allowed, under 61.5.
I'm going to play into that with you, but I'm going to take Notre Dame plus the points because if it's a low-scoring game, I would love to have 10.5 points in my pocket with Notre Dame. Lower scoring. We're not going to call it 14-9, but it's going to be lower scoring based on what we saw last time. Notre Dame is legit, whether you want to believe it or not. They gave up 17 to North Carolina, who outside of the Notre Dame games averaging close to 45 points a game this year. That North Carolina team just went to Miami and hung 60+ on the U this past weekend.
Seems good.
Notre Dame held them to 17. Notre Dame held Clemson to 33 in regulation when they got together last time. That is a season low for Clemson. Now, Clemson scored again in overtime, but we're talking about regulation. This team can play defense. You're going to give me 10.5 points with a smart offense that's been able to move the ball this year? I'll take Notre Dame. SEC championship game. This one got out of hand after Florida blew it against LSU. Alabama laying 17 with a total of, get this, 74.5 against the Florida Gators. 74.5.
Rather large. But I'm not scared.
Lofty.
I'm not scared. I'm going to go over 74.5 with these two offenses.
Just like Army-Navy.
Just like Army-Navy, baby. We're going to see. They'll probably eclipse the Army-Navy total in the first 7 minutes and 20 seconds in this game. Maybe even less than that.
That's a really good prop bet. We should get one of our guys to put that up on the board somewhere.
All right, Florida's got the #1 pass offense in all of FBS football. And guess who's coming back? Their best weapon. Kyle Pitts to join Kyle Trask, who did not play in that matchup against LSU. So Mac Jones, Devontae Smith, and that crew is going to hang 40-50 on anyone, including the Florida Gators. So can the Gators hang 25-30 on Alabama? I absolutely think they can. They can throw the rock, and Alabama has a good defense, but mostly because they've been ahead by so much this year, they can just pin their ears back. I don't think they'll have a 30-point halftime lead against Florida, so I do think it will be a closer situational game where Pitts and Trask can do some work through the air.
There's coaching. There's offense and there's defense. There's also special teams, but we're going to disregard that for right now. No disrespect to the special teamers out there, although I do realize
that was
inherently
blatant disrespect.
I just disrespected you by saying I wasn't going to talk about you. Coaching, huge advantage for Alabama. This was a look-ahead spot coming into the SEC championship. What happened in the look-ahead spot? Alabama throttled Arkansas 52-3, I believe was the final. Florida, as a 24-point favorite, lost outright to LSU. Who throws a shoe? Honestly, who throws a shoe? So you've got that. Offensively, that's where Florida's at its best. Alabama is still better in terms of points per game and yards per play. And defensively, Alabama has a significant size advantage as well. I'll lay the 17. I will lay the 17.
I'm with you on that.
I don't love it, but I like it.
I'm with you. Bama's
final one. Ohio State. What a season it's been for the Buckeyes. They seemingly play whenever they want. We'll be laying 20.5 points with a total of 58.5 in the Big Ten Championship against Northwestern.
It's scary, but I'm going to take the 20.5-point head start
with the Cats.
With the Northwestern Wildcats. I think
we
see a lower scoring game. I'm going under 58 and a hook as well, even though Justin Fields and Ohio State have that fast-paced turbo-style offense. Northwestern is 6-1-1 ATS its last 8 games, okay?
All right.
They're allowing just 14.6 points per game this season while they, aren't playing Ohio State every week. I think that speaks to the defensive scheme and personnel that they have. That's the second best defensive scoring defense in the entire FBS, of all of FBS football. And I think they're going to play a similar style like what I was trying to tell Brian Kelly might do against Clemson. Try and control the football, keep Justin Fields off the field, and I'll take the 20.5-point head start if I think this game is going under 58.5.
Okay, I like that. I'm going the opposite direction, so we got a little roulette bet for the big. That's a terrible throw. Great grab for the Big Ten Championship. 2 factors here. I don't know if Northwestern, while I agree with the defensive assessment, has the offense to keep pace if they start to fall behind in this one. Northwestern has scored 21 or fewer points in 4 of their last 6 games.
That's scary.
So offensively, there's a bit of a concern there. Number 2, Ohio State is going to run it up if they have the chance. Even going 6-0, even winning this game, Dabo from Clemson and a lot of head coaches have come out trying to knock them down, saying, you know what? Currency should be the fact that teams are playing games. They didn't play enough games. and I think they're going to want to run it up here. So I will lay with Ohio State. Plus, they've had 2 weeks to get ready. How about the Big Ten? They changed their rules to get Ohio State in, and then they tell Northwestern they still have to play Illinois, but Ohio State gets the week off because Michigan had COVID.
My
They
concern,
get a bye week going into the conference championship.
My concern, Northwestern treats this like their Super Bowl. Ohio State is kind of the spoiled kid who gets whatever they want from their parents, the Big Ten Conference. So they'll win, but win a close one.
This one's for you as well.
What for?
When I didn't listen to you earlier. I feel bad. I feel bad that I was too busy focused on other things. I missed that great line, and then we went back and did it again. It sounded great the second time. You treat yourself to a $1 bet on
I'll go put that on your favorite number then, since you gave it to me.
We're finished. This show's over. We will be back on Wednesday, and we're going to be back on Thursday. We got a lot to get to this week. We got Saturday NFL football this week. We got conference championship games this week. We got Chargers-Raiders Thursday night. He's Tyler Foljam. I'm Joe Fortenbaugh.
We could do preseason NBA basketball, too, if you want.
The Knicks.
I don't care.
Obi Toppin for MVP, Rookie of the Year. Not MVP. We'll see ya.